Welcome. In this video, I would like to show you how to replace front glass in McIntosh MA7000. I decided to make this video because I couldn't find any myself. Also, I asked Macintosh Lab for any service manuals. Unfortunately, they are not covering replacement of the glass. So there was no official sources, no unofficial sources. So I tried to figure out everything myself, trying to read through some schemas for the amplifier. This whole replacement took me a couple of hours, but I was also recording it, so that made the process a bit longer. You don't need any special tools to perform this replacement, just a couple of screwdrivers, some plastic spatula, some knives, and some double-sided tape. I would like to point that I'm not a service professional. I'm just a DIY guy. I fixed some electronics, some amplifiers, some hardware there and thought. And so don't expect the video to be like professional. This is my first video I'm recording, so sorry for any mistakes while recording. The view may not be perfect, but I'll try to overdub everything which is needed to cover what's not visible. So let's start. As you see, the crack is from left down corner all the way through knobs to the right side. Fortunately, the gas is still keep itself. All the knobs are just to be pulled firmly from the potentiometers. Just take away, just like simply the plastic part, metal part with the plastic inside. What's important is that there we have a little bit of felt pad over it. It's important not to lose it. It keeps the dust inside and makes the potentiometers works a little bit more smooth. For the small ones, it's the same, just pulling and they are out. It's out. The same felt pad as in the other one. And here we go. Next one. Just slowly move it and go with it. Put them aside. In case of if the broken glass is close, like this one here, it can be hard to pull it with your hands because of the sharp glass, and it can break even more. So I strongly advise to use use plastic cards, like credit card type, but not the credit card, and just slide it a little bit below it and just slightly pull towards, and it's down. As simple as that. It may be a bit difficult, required a little bit of force, but at least at the beginning it's possible to just like angle it, slide it a bit, angle it, and just slowly pull with the fingers from below the card. And they go are. And here we have the knob and the felt pad. The same one with this one. You just slowly loosen it, and then finally you can just pull it even like with your hand. Just be careful with the glass. Well, it can be pretty sharp, so as the glass it is, right? And the same with the big volume knob. Slowly move it, and then just like final part, take with the hand so it won't go down or hit something. And here we have the first part done. As you see, the broken part is clearly visible here. It keeps itself together in the frame. All the buttons are mounted from inside, so we're not pulling them. Also the headphone frame is also mounted to the glass from the inside. Just like this insert part here stays in the amplifier. And yeah, that's pretty much all we have to do directly from the front of the amplifier. The front part is kept by some screws over the top and on the side. I will show them later. And from the below there are 3 screws. One is here, just next to the frame. Third one is here. Second one, and the third one is here. So we have 3 screws here. 2 screws on the side and 2 screws in the top. But I will show them in a moment. So going further, we have the front part have 2 screws on the top. This whole part we want to take up, demount. And there is 1 screw on one side here, and the other one on the second side the same way. Okay, so we can start from the screw on the side. One here. This one here. We can go around it. Screw from the top. Second one from the top. And then finally the last one from this side. It's just like regular screw. And now we can just slowly lift the part straight. To unscrew the front part, we need to remove some more screws. And we have like these 2 screws here on our side. This screw here and here. This one. And the same as always on the other side. These 2 screws here. An important remark, I didn't show on the video removing these 3 screws which are underneath the amplifier next to the front frame. It keeps the frame also, so we need to remove them first and then follow up with the ones I'm showing right now. These ones, I'll put them aside. Manage them correctly. These are the other ones here. And finally we are moving these top ones from here. This one here. Be careful now, it's a bit loose already, so it won't fall down. That's why I have this table. In case of something, it won't fall down on the floor. And the screw here. And here we are. As you see, it's already loose. Just put the screw right place. And now we can slowly move it, a little bit wiggling towards the front. It is slightly weird to move. You may feel it's sticking by something, but it's just very tight fit. You have to just be very, very careful with it to don't break anything. There's some. Yeah, and here we are. As you see, now it's unmounted. The strange feeling when you move it, it may be these fibers which light up some of the buttons here. This is like fibers which take the light from the back. And here we are up in the front. As you see, we are still connected with the tape, with the tapes which are placed here to be connected to the buttons. Now to undo it, we just need to very lightly wiggle this and slightly pull, and then we have like 1 and number 2, and the whole front is now undone, and we can safely work on it further on. So here we have a view on the front glass. As you can see, there's this button plate is missing. I already removed it. I will show how to do it in a moment. But what we can see that there is like whole frame around, and the blue tint for the windows is actually just 2 pieces of plexi, and we need to transfer this to our new glass. So it will be a little bit tricky. There is double-sided tape to be cut and taken out. And we have like these 2 button plates. One is on the side. And yeah, it's good to start with the button plate. While it's still mounted, it's easier to wiggle things around without like glass in the pieces. So here we are. With the buttons, it's best to delicately start from one side to another, just pushing the latches a little bit on the side and wiggling a bit around, and it's like a slight click, and it will just slightly slowly go higher, one by one latch, and a little bit move it a little bit up, and just go with it to carefully to not break the board. That would be very tragic for us, but just slowly moving from one side to another. And as it, now we get like this, lifted the spear, and we're checking which one are still locking. Is there actually anyone? Yeah. And here we that was unfortunate. And here we have the whole board pulled out with LEDs. And we can just put it right next to where it was before. So we need to take care about the covers, like buttons from themselves. So, and the headphones socket. So we just need to carefully, they are mounted here with the small rubber gaskets. So we just need to carefully pull them out to not break them. So I'm just using very delicate plastic tweezers for that. Actually are carbon fiber tweezers. Just slowly go from the place it's out and just pull it out like this. Slowly, not putting any too much pressure on it, and the piece is falling outside, and we have just a little bit stiff rubber gasket. Hopefully it will be able to put it back where it should be. Otherwise we'll have to glue it. And the buttons go the same way, just a little bit less comfortable because of the depth of the button, so we need to be a little bit more tricky. You just start from the place where it's like sticking outside like this, where you can actually put tweezers or something similar just between the shell and the rubber, deep enough to just pull it out of the groove which is around it, which keeps them inside. So it is a bit of hustle around, but as soon as you get like the first corner out, you usually get a bit easier. Okay, I see, just a little bit higher, and now I can just walk my way around. Oh, slowly. See, almost get there. Fortunately, the first one just went just a little bit higher. Just keep them with a finger and just go
around. Just very carefully, like this, right? It came back. Just be careful not to break anything. Luckily, the glass we are doing now, we are doing it on a broken glass, so there's no problem that if we're gonna scratch it. Our biggest concern right now is to not break the rubber. Actually, it can catch a bit on the glass, so we have to be careful to don't cut it on the edge. Just a little bit more. I think it's the last one right now. It's this corner, and here we go. As you see, button fall down. There is still a little bit of plastic left, but now it's much easier because we have easier access, and the button fell down, and the whole button part is out right now. So now I have all the buttons taken out slowly and steadily, and I will try to remove some of the color stickers. They are probably not needed for the new amplifier, but I want to just compare it. These pieces of tape here I put on a break, so when I take out the glass, it won't fall into the pieces. It will be slightly easier to get around it. So luckily, McIntosh uses very delicate tape, at least for the color panels or like diffusion layers. This one, so you can just easily start slowly and then just easily pull around it. Unfortunately, it comes sometimes with a little bit of color from the glass. As you see, paint is a little bit delicate, but it's surprisingly not seen through. So, but yeah, the glass is already broken, so it's not that important.
Here you can see the simplest way to keep yourself organized. Just piece of paper, draft of the amplifier, and the screws placed in the places in which they are. The same you can see with this coloring and diffusers layers, which I put in a direction and in the places in which they were originally mounted. It's very simple, very good. I've done similar way of organizing before, so I strongly advise it, something similar.
Okay, so as you see, I removed all the colorings for LEDs here and here, and a diffuser on top. Now the next step is to actually start to dismantle the frame and to take out the glass, finally. I first started to unglue the tape. As you see, there are some markings left and some of the paint went out. It's not that big a concern as because this glass will be trash soon, but then I started to just use X-Acto knife to cut through the tapes, as you can see here, to remove it. And I'm gonna compare it after taking out the glass with the current one. If I need to add them or I don't, because it's a bit unknown thing. So we're starting to remove the glass from the frame, and there are 4 screws here and 2 flat screws in these holes here, which keep the handle in the frame. So we're going to start from this and then go further, turn around it first and unscrew it. So there's 4 screws here, 1, second screw here, fourth screw here, here. Move them aside. And now we're gonna turn it upside down and unscrew these two screws in deep part, which keep the hull onto the glass. They are a bit hard to move. They're long, getting quite long. But slowly you work out your so actually there's a maybe tiny bit of glue between those parts, but you just have to work all the way through it. This is pretty long because it has to keep all the frame together. And now we have I have 3, and you can see that our broken piece of glass here is there. And yeah, now we can work on the other side. So right now our glass is kept just by the last 4 elements, side and bottom and top construction pieces. So it's wobbly right now, so we need to just unscrew 2 screws in each corner to take it apart. So we're gonna lie it flat like this and take the final parts out. This is like one of the side brackets, and just organize it slightly like this. And our glass is almost free right now. We have last 2 screws to undo. This one here. And this one here. And our side bracket just fall apart. Now we just need to remove carefully the upper and lower brackets from the actual glass. There may be slight glue inside, and there's a foam. So just be careful and don't get cut. Since the glass is broken, there may be some shards in there. Very sharp. So here we are. Our glass is finally free. Let's see, thanks to my tape, it's keeping pretty well together. So removing blue tinted pieces of glass or plexi is pretty simple. Just use a sharp knife and go slowly underneath the tape closer to the glass and slowly move your way among the glue. And be careful do not cut yourself. And then the longer edges slowly. Some of the tape is not keeping well anymore, and our primary objective is to not break that blue tinted part. So it is pretty easy to do. Just don't hurry. Don't make sudden moves, do not break it. And here we are. The second one is already free. As you see, it's a little bit bigger than the window itself, which is good for us. It will be easier to glue it to the new front glass, which we get from factory. So this is how we leave it, the old one, with everything removed, taped together. So we can put it aside right now and clean the tinted parts, apply a new glue and take things together. So to clean the rest of the glue I use flat knife, which is easier to control to not scratch the blue glass, and just slowly, taking my time, remove as much as possible from the old tape before applying the new one, so it will stick the best way. Just keep in mind that the part we see on top of right now, it's the part which goes towards the centrum of towards the glass, the front glass. So if we make something dirty on this side and put it together, it will be very difficult to clean later on. Basically impossible without dismantling it back again. So I have a new tape applied to the right side. I just want to clean as good as I can interior side of the glass, because when I glue it in, there won't be any access to that. So every single dust particles will stay there forever. So I want to clean up with a good cloth. Make sure there's no visible glue residues or something, small particles, just to make sure before we glue it in a moment. So as you see, there is a new glass. It's manufactured differently. There is like a white cover over the black paint, what makes it more durable, easier to work with, because the black paint in old glasses are very easy to break, to leave a fingerprint which will be visible through it. With this white version, with white cover, is a bit better. Also, LEDs are already tinted red, so we don't need to move this stripes, and we have this window for the remote already done for us. So all we need to just clean these pieces of glass where the blue tint will go, and glue them in and start assembling everything. So as you see, one is already done. I'm taking the second one. And it's most difficult part is to actually get the protective layer from the double-sided tape to unglue it without making marks on the glass. So yeah, almost there. And here we are. Now just carefully place it more or less in the center of the window. To just place it and just drop it. Okay, and with like soft tissue, I just press on each of the tapes to make sure that they have firm contact. And let them cure for a moment before we proceed forward. What I forget to add is that I'm moving also this diffuser layer, which was originally over the McIntosh lettering, because it looks like it should be here. So I'm adding it with just a bit of good quality tape to make sure that it will stick, will be in place. And also I need to move one stripe for the power guard LEDs because they are not red enough by default, it seems. So I need to also move this part there, but it's just a few stripes of tape and that's all. It's very light to do it, so very easy. Just take a tape and just simply tape it there and right in place over the white glass. Just as simple as that. And that should be more than enough to keep it in place. And now we're going to this part for the power guard. And as you see, it's got black tape and orange tape on the top and some residue of overall tape. Black tape goes towards the window, so like this, orange tape towards us. Just gonna trim the old tape because it's two parts are glued. First the black one, dark one, and then the orange one. So I'm just gonna leave them glued together and apply them as one unit. That will be a little bit simpler. Unless they're gonna undo that. At least we have the tape from one side. So that's the last thing I think we need to do. The other stripes for LEDs seems to be not necessary to be added there. So that's how it looks finally. As you see, we have this orange tape here, diffuser up there, two of our windows. Now we're gonna move to the assembly and get back. So let's start the final assembly of the front, at least the front panel for now. So here we are. We have the metal parts of the frame. You just need to be a bit careful to don't break the new glass. It would be very annoying if that would happen on that final stretch, right? So let me just move it a little bit over from the table, so I have more. I can firmly push the center is as good as possible and push it all the way deep as it should be. Okay, sounds good. Now let's do the second one. Yeah, and some ropey thingy coming out. It's probably just a piece of the so there we are. Let's move it there, and as in previous straight slowly slide it in. There is a bit of foam sticking out, so we have to be careful. Just squeeze the foam a little bit and carefully push it in. Try to make it as central as possible right now, as deep as possible, and I'm gonna simply put these two pieces and gently screw them in so it will squeeze to the right level. So let's take one screw here and try for a little bit. As usual, don't screw itself all the way in. There we are. So we need to do it gently. First, trying to get some of the frame to catch. We don't want to overstress one side or another. And there we go. We have one part, a little bit more. We can add. Yep. Okay. It keeps together. Let's take the other side. Put it here. Plenty of foam here. So it's not that simple, but let's not worry. Just like get a little bit of thread to catch. And the last one. Not the last one, not the last screw, but last to keep things relatively in place. Almost get it. Almost. Okay, we have it catched. Now we're gonna just slowly squeeze each corner to get it as good as possible. And then just thread a little bit from each side, keeping like not too much stress. You have to remember we are dealing with glass, so if we overstretch one side versus the other, it is possible that it could crack, right? So let us see if it looks good. Looks very good, very promising. You hear it a little bit squeezing there and thought. Okay, I can feel that this one is pretty much set. This one a little bit more, but it's not that bad. We are almost in the right place. So we can add every other second screw. But again, as earlier, don't put them all the way in. I have all 4 screws on the front frame here. So now I can again try to see if everything sits and start to screw not too much force. You don't need to squeeze it too much. Just enough, and try to go with the screws going as much as across as you can. So now I'm doing all 4 of internal screws. Okay, and now the external ones. That's enough. A little bit more here. That's enough. That's enough. And finally, that's enough. Now we have quite nicely completed most of the frame for the glass, and we're gonna add the handle part. So I added first 2 screws, these external screws which are in the holes here. And now I'm gonna add the second handle. Also these 2 screws, move it around and add 4 other screws which keep the handle in a correct place. But this part is very important not to hurry up, since there is a slot for a glass part, and if you miss it, it may actually make a tension and break the glass. So just very carefully, without any rush, just slowly and steadily, just like make the first screw catch, and then another one. And as previously, a little bit on each side. Slowly. I really don't like it screws. Just closer we are to glass, just the smaller adjustments to make. And keep in mind that the handle is slightly loose. So to go correctly to the glass, we need to just slightly tilt it, so it will catch correctly the slot for the glass. It won't go anywhere there. And it finally goes into the place, into the right direction. Yeah. Stops to move slowly. You can see it is. Right where it's supposed to be in the frame. So carefully, the handles are not fully attached, so we need to be careful while moving it still. Let's try to check the other 2 screws. Yeah, and now we can turn it around and mount these 4 screws here. What we're gonna do right now. So here is the first one. As usually, don't use too much force at first. We're screwing any screws to don't make any tensions. Slowly, without rush. This is how things should be made. It's not a race. A little bit here, a little bit everywhere. Don't over tighten anything. It shouldn't be a problem, it's metal on metal, but still the thread can be damaged. There may be so much tension, too much tension everywhere. And now we need the other 4 screws to put it in the correct spots on the other side. And with these 4 screws, the front frame should be sturdy, should be basically ready in matter of construction part. So we'll need to add the buttons and screw it back. So we are almost ready. Right now, up, and the last screw here. Bit until they stop. Like this. And that's done. Our frame is basically ready. So our front glass requires no buttons and the final assembly. And we will be good to go. So now we can start adding back the buttons. We'll start with the headphone jack cover, which should fit in any direction, I think. In our hole, yep, we have it here. And then the rubber goes around it, like this. And now it sits in place. Just as simple as that. So we can go with other switches now. Just be careful to put them in the right direction, so they are like facing this lip down, like this. And we basically put them through the glass and take our rubber gasket and slowly move it all the way down across it. Again, it's not that easy at first, but with every single one it goes much faster. Get it in first now, and then I can just using our finger just roll it down. As you see, and like roll it in the place. Make sure that it stays where it should. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now we just need to follow with all the rest of the buttons. So we are on the final stretch. Now we are adding a second button board. We have the one already mounted. And as with dismantling, just going slowly, still one by one, just a little bit, until all of it clicks, and just make sure that they are correct, clicking as they should. Everything looks fine, so we can move to connecting the buttons and final assembly. So here we are. We're gonna attach the tapes carefully. There's not much room for that, so it will be slightly difficult. I will take something to lift it. So now we're installing both tapes, just very carefully. It goes a little bit tight, but slowly, and here we are. They are all mounted now. So as you can see, I have everything in place. While mounting the glass, we have to go a little bit from the top to just move side these fibers coming here, because then otherwise they will get pinched and they can break. And that's pretty much all. There is the headphone jack is sometimes a little bit difficult to put in. That's why I'm using one of the adapters to just guide it to the hole. So let's go with the final part of our assembly. Slowly, steadily. As I said, just go slightly from the top. It's sliding the fiber some way from this, and just carefully move them, just not to pinch them. all of them are away now. Just slowly slide them down, and everything goes right into the place from the top a bit. Now, as I said, a little bit of guidance here can be useful. Slightly pushing things around and wobbling it around foot. Make sure that nothing gets caught. And here we almost are. Just a bit of the lower part needs to go a little bit down. So some slight plate underneath goes down. Almost there. And here we are. Our plate seems to be right in place. Now we just need to add screws to keep it in the right place. So we can start from the top. One. Here. Be careful not to drop it inside, because then we'll need to take everything apart again, and we don't want to do it really. As you know, it wasn't very bad, but it wasn't like the best thing to do whole Saturday, right? Just we want this screw to catch in the correct place. Let me try with this side first. There we are. Now it's pretty much sitting in the right place, so just like slow. Here we are. And now we can add this side screws, which are located here on the side. They keep part of the structure of the amplifier in place, so we can add them as usual, not screwing everything completely tight, allowing a little bit too tight to make things lose all the tension it can have. And here we go. Now we have one here. And the other side. Now screw here. Tight. Screw here tight. Now just one here. And another one here. Tight. And now we're just missing 3 screws underneath and the cover. But now I think it's the time to see if things are working correctly. Hopefully all the LEDs and backlight. So I'm gonna connect move right forward, connect back the power, and we have LED in front, and we have all the lights coming up pretty nicely. Looks pretty good. Let me just make it a little bit darker. Looks really, really nice. Nothing is too bright. Nothing is looking bad here. So here we are with basically a finished job right now. So now we just need to add back knobs. screws the cover, and everything will be done.
And that's pretty much end of our work. As you see, the amplifier looks perfectly. Everything works fine. So the biggest advice is just not to hurry, go with things slowly, and just reserve whole day for this, and be careful with the glass. I hope that this guide will help you fix your McIntosh. And if you have any questions, just write them down below in the comments and I will respond to it and try to help you. Anyway, good luck with your repairs. Bye.